Nebraska ends the month of October undefeated for the first time since 2001 after beating Purdue 31-14 on Saturday. In a Halloween matchup, monster plays by the defense made the crowd howl, while once again losing the turnover margin caused them to shriek in fear. With the hope of a bowl game rising from the dead, will this team continue to find ways to win? We're breaking it all down tonight with our special guests, Trev Alberts and Kevin Supes. We're also looking ahead at recruiting with Sean Callahan. All that and more on Big Red Wrap-Up. Stay tuned if you dare. Happy Halloween, everyone. I am Michael Severe. Welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. Nebraska wins and moved to 5-3, one game away from bowl eligibility. To talk more about it with me is former Husker Jay Moore and, of course, Sean Callahan. You know, that game was funny. They were joking a little bit about it being ugly. Mm-hmm. But when you win the way they won, I don't think you can even call that game ugly.
No, that's
fantastic.
No, listen, any win is fantastic. And I thought Coach Rule hit the nail on the head the other day in his presser. You know, we talking about ugly losses. Now we're talking about ugly wins. Yeah. I think I'll take the ugly wins. And I agree. Listen, it's just not going to be. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be pretty with the issues on offense, the injuries, and a lot of young players. But this team just continues to figure out how to get it done, and it's a thing of beauty right now because the defense, you know, if he gets put in a tough spot, they're going to perform. They're going to do their job. They're going to execute. They're going to hold teams to field goals. If the balls turn over on their own 10, they're going to do the right thing. Special teams will step up. And I think even though the offense has their issues, they find the right time to make a big play, Malachi Coleman or, just those big type of over-the-top plays just to get it done at the right times.
It's incredible, sudden change, what Nebraska's done after turnovers. They gave up one touchdown on Saturday, but bucked up every other time.
Yeah, their defense in general has just held up. You know, you think about the situations they've been put in the last few weeks, even the Illinois game, the way they withstood at the goal line. I mean, that's really been the story. What Tony White has gotten out of this group, the depth they've developed. We've never really seen this many guys on a front seven play this consistently where, you know, there's probably 20 guys that rotate on that front seven over the course of a game. And it's paid off, the way this unit's been playing and the number of new faces that step up week to week.
Do you know how many Isaac Giffords are on the field at a time? Because it's not just one, right?
No, it seems like there's a lot. You know, he's played fantastic. I thought, heading this year, there was a guy's like, who's going to thrive in the 3-3-5? Mm-hmm. I figured it was him just because he is, I don't see him as a true safety. I see him more as a rover. He's bigger I'd say in a linebacker role, but he's still good in coverage, I can see here, but he will come up and thump you on the line of scrimmage. He's not afraid of contact. The guy made a fantastic play against Northwestern. We went over that numerous times. Mm-hmm. He just steps up and makes plays. I mean, that's just, you look at this. This right here is just setting the edge, playing on the edge. There's times where this defense looks like they're going to get gashed, and all of a sudden a cornerback comes and defeats a block. These guys do a great job of, you think you might have heard Coach Rule say it, not go 1-for-1, meaning, yes, I'm blocked, but you know what? You might be blocked, but get off the block and make a play. Don't be, or say a lot of times you can I did my job, I spilled and forced the ball to bounce. Well, you did that, but go make the play still. Don't go 1-for-1. And that's what's been really impressive about the defense is guys are doing their job and more.
We got a lot to get to, but real quick, you think Quinton Newsome could be all Big Ten at some point?
I'm a voter. I'm one of the voters on it. And as you look at the process for this, it's going to be tough. There's 2 or 3 Nebraska guys, but it's 14 teams in this league right now. Yeah. I think there's some guys for sure knocking on the door of second, third team, but when you start getting into first team All Big Ten, that's basically all American. I think Nash Hutmacher, Isaac Gifford, Quinton Newsome, those 3 guys particularly have played at a consistent level for Nebraska where I think you could start to consider them. And maybe Tommy Hill could play himself into there with a big month here to finish out.
That'd be awesome. We have so much to discuss tonight. We can't do without your help. Guide our conversations and connect with us. Our call room is up and running, manned by our sports intern, Hannah. And is that a crocodile or an alligator? I always get them confused. They're there the whole show enjoying Valentino's Pizza and taking your calls. You can also text or email us your questions at bigred@nebraskapublicmedia.org. And we're keeping our eyes peeled on social media as well. Share your questions on our Big Red Wrap-Up accounts, and we will get to as many as we can tonight. In last week's sideline survey, we asked you how you felt about the 3-3-5 defense. Most of you, 67% of you, said, I'm very impressed so far. I told you, I'm the one throwing the bones. I got the cramp in my arm because they were so good. If you missed out in last week's sideline survey, make sure you go vote on the new one. It's on our website right now. It asks simply, does Nebraska make a bowl game this year? Yes No, or are you scared of jinxing it? 77% of the people. It should be 100% of the people say yes right now. And with that, let's take a look at the top plays from Saturday's victory. Number 3. I am so happy for Tristan Albano. He has gotten in the groove again. This is a 55-yard field goal, following up last week, kicking into the win with that 47-yard field goal. Great for him. Look how happy Coach Rule was about that, because he knows you get Tristan hot, he is a weapon in this league. Jalen Lloyd, a kid I have known since he was 1 year old in daycare with my kids over at Child Saving Institute. His mom was director of the facility. Look at that. That's awesome. It's that Belly G, man. It's working.
There, you get
it's working.
The safety comes up, commits in the box, and you're able to get over top.
And, of course, number 1, the block kick returned by Quentin Newsome for a touchdown. Judy gets up, gets the ball. It's a bad snap, so it's a little low, but he gets it. And then looks like Kansas City Chiefs right here, like Tyreek Hill, right? Doing the hand. And Coach says he doesn't want that.
Look at the ref was cold.
Yeah, the ref was cool. Yeah, he didn't throw a flag or anything. We'll get to more on the game later. But now let's hear from the players and coaches following the game before we welcome in our first guest of the night, Nebraska Athletic Director Trev Alberts.
I went after the offensive staff last week. I said, I want 24 points, and I want 40% on third down, and I want to win the turnover battle. And we scored 24 points on offense. We were 43% on third down, but we lost the turnover battle. Whereas people might say, hey, you guys are winning ugly, and trust me, I do know it's ugly. So I'm not saying that. I'm as upset as anything. But the flip side of it is I just think we're kind of a tough team. I kind of like our guys. I think we're kind of a gritty, tough team. And I kind of like running the ball and stopping the run. I kind of think that's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
You don't feel that, oh, man, what are you doing? You feel that, hey, we get to go on the field and play, so let's go play. And that's a testament to the guys, buying into everything that's going on and the process.
We didn't play nearly as well on defense as the stats denoted. Sometimes, and I think in fairness to me, when we've lost, I said, hey, we've done this better than I thought. This was better than I thought. We came in, I think the guys, all of us were kind of like, hey, that really wasn't the level of defense we thought we were playing.
It's the standard of play versus the result, and so many times everybody gets fixated on the results, and it's believe me, it's great to win and all that stuff, but what happens is you neglect those things that'll get you beat.
We trust the process, and it took time too, because obviously we lost those beginning games. We had to learn the hard way, and after we started gradually trusting the process even more, we get to November. November's a month to remember. We get to play in more meaningful games, and it's actually very exciting. I'm excited.
My challenge to them has been, man, double down on it one more time here and see what you can do. See if you can go get another win this week. See if you can go 1-0. Truly be 1-0 mindset.
Now we're pleased to be joined by the Vice Chancellor and Director of Athletics, Trev Alberts. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me here, and you guys do a great job. I enjoy watching. Thanks for what you do for Husker football.
I appreciate that. Let's talk about the season so far. Sure. Obviously, a lot of injuries. 5-3, 1 win away from bowl eligibility. What's kind of your feel of the season so far?
Well, just so proud and happy of the progress, and talking to Coach Rule back in the hiring process, you just got to start with those fundamental things that I think are really important to Nebraska fans, and ultimately those types of things that help you win in the Big Ten Conference. First of all, we need to have a tough team. Right? And I think what you're seeing is, as you go through all these injuries and you go through some of the adversity, mental toughness in a tough team matters. And so how you practice matters. And been really pleased with that. And, you have to be able to run the ball, and you have to stop the run in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. And so do we have a lot of progress to make? Well, of course. Are we a finished product? No. But what I'm really pleased about is those, tangible things that you can see progress, and just really proud of the culture that Matt is building and the people he's surrounded himself with. We talked about this too, the apparatus around football. I know you, Sean, deal a lot with this, but I like where they are in terms of the recruiting apparatus and where their focus is and their energy. And it's a staff that works really hard, and at a place like Nebraska, you got to work really hard. You got to have a very strong vision and execute it and bring as many people into the fold as you can. And they've done that. So it's been exciting to watch.
Trev, a lot of people, there's 4 games left here in 2023, but we don't know the schedule now for 2024. What can you give us an update on as far as when we'll know those dates? I know there's a lot of wedding planners and people with family reunions and family events watching probably said, can you at least give us some dates here? When do you think we can know?
Well, we're going to know very, very soon. I actually have it. Was given it today from the Big Ten. The AD's got that. And I like the way our schedule lays out for us. And so the Big Ten has plans about how they'd like to release it. And so we'll keep it internal for now, but we won't be holding it long. I know when the date of release is. So fans, very soon, we're going to get to know what the sequencing is, what the home and away is. And I'm really excited. I will break one piece of news. We will start the conference season at home this year, which will be the first time, I think, in 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
So that'll be important to us, too. So I was able to share that with Coach Rule this afternoon, and I think it's a schedule that Husker fans will enjoy and like. It will be really challenging, but that's the new reality of the Big Ten Conference.
Definitely.
Trev, when you were playing in the early 90s, things were a certain way. When I was playing the mid-2000s, things evolved in a certain way. What you and I know has vastly changed in college football, right? With the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness, NIL. How do you see the NIL evolving? And just because right now it's kind of the wild, wild west. There's not a whole lot of clarity on it. Schools can be involved, maybe not. It's just you have collectives. Where do you foresee that NIL evolving in the next couple of years?
Well, it's a really good question, and it's something that we're all struggling with, Jay. The reality is certain institutions have worked with their legislature. They've created state laws that have allowed them some freedoms to circumvent what historically the NCAA told you could or couldn't do. I'm actually on a subcommittee that Gene Smith is chairing that's really looking at institutional involvement. And at the end of the day, I mean, the collectives have been very important to all of us. They really have. I mean, it's really filled and stepped into a gap of need. But I think the institution, if we could be involved, at least have the freedom. I mean, we're a little conservative in the state of Nebraska, right? We're very serious about protecting the brand in the end and the integrity. And so we want to do things a certain way. But if we could have more institutional involvement in terms of communication with the collective and working with student athletes, perhaps even going through contracts with them, just bring some transparency and some clarity around those issues, that would be really important. The reality is we're in the middle of significant litigation against the NCAA and what's called the NRA litigation, or House and Oliver. And there is some thought about mediating that, and at some point, I don't know how it gets done. I don't know when it gets done. The fact of the matter is an increasing amount of aggregated revenues that we historically use to fund the department are going to go straight to student athletes. And it'll have to be within a Title IX vision because we're tied to an academic institution. And so that's really what the challenge is for us. I'm a huge proponent of all of those things that were listed as impermissible from an institutional perspective. I'd like us to move beyond the hypocrisy, move them over to this ledge of permissible, and get working on the realities of supporting students in a higher level. I mean, that's what we do. We take these jobs because we're pretty good at supporting student athletes beyond just their football experience. So I see it evolving. Tony Petitti was in Washington again last week. Greg Sankey. I mean, we need to have some federal involvement to help us. It's not to eliminate collectives. We need some consistency in the application. Because as we've seen this week in other areas, the integrity of our game is what's really important. And you'd like to think that when you entered the white lines, and I entered the white lines whenever you played, it's an equal playing field and everybody has a reasonable chance of winning the game. And if we don't do a better job of bringing some clarity and consistency in this area, it's really challenging.
Let's get into the remodeling of Memorial Stadium, $450 million. Is there an amount you need to raise to where you feel comfortable that everything's going to be okay? Is there a time limit for that? How's that work?
Yeah, so we want to raise $225 million, which obviously is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And but we feel very passionately about our need, and you think about these are all intertwined, right? So of course, one of the outcomes we want is we want to have a stadium like this that has 360 concourse, that has the modern amenities that in 2023 and beyond fans have come to expect. Remembering a lot of our fans go to Vikings games or Broncos or what have you, Kansas City Chiefs. So we have to meet that level of expectation. But the reality is this: what we're all trying to do, what I want to do, is think about the next 25 to 30 years and what is our business strategy to replace essentially lost revenue? How do we look for new entrepreneurial ways through maybe increased point of sales? That's what we've been studying, and I think those athletic departments that have a strong vision around and a business strategy on replacing some of that lost revenue is going to be critical for us going forward while maintaining no debt. So we could just take out a bunch of debt, mortgage our future.
Yeah.
Well, everything we're enjoying today, Michael, is a result of past leadership running a good business operation and a fan base that supported us. I feel a sense of responsibility to ensure that, 3 ADs from now, when they look back and they say, well, what was Trev Alberts doing? We need to make sure we have a sound business plan in place. So we've got some benchmarks. Obviously, the Board of Regents will be very, very involved. You can't get to intermediate design until you have certain, and they've been very clear to us, we're not going to start, tearing down parts of the stadium until we have our funding in place, and that's what I'm living and working every day.
What about the other projects going on right now? The academic center, the weight room, the training table, obviously the coaches' offices. Yeah. Do you have some timelines on when you would expect those to be ready to go?
Yeah, so we've been working with our partners, both the architects and Houseman Construction and our own internal. We actually hired Rainwood Development Partners, Chad Beeson, who's the project manager, who's brought some real clarity to us there. It's been really, really good. So each one of those areas has a completion date on them. And by and large, most of all those areas are supposed to be done by the end of the calendar year or into January. There's a couple of the areas on the student services side that are more like April, March timeframe. So if it's academic support or life skills, we may choose to just wait till the end of the calendar year instead of causing that disruption. Remembering that most of our facilities that we have today are pretty darn good.
Yeah.
But we want to do what we can to be the least disruptive as possible, and it's also hard to continue construction while people are moving in. So we'll get it done. It's a transformational project. It'll be the best development facility in the country, and a lot of people who participated in that vision deserve an awful lot of credit, because there won't be many universities, Jay, as we go forward, talk about NIL, that will be in a financial position to have the best development facility, 315,000 square feet with no debt, a coach like Matt Rule, a athletic department with no debt, and then what we think is a strategy and vision for the future of Memorial Stadium to ensure we have those resources long term. Because at the end of the day, where it used to be about the fanciest locker room or maybe the weather or lakes or streams, geography, number one, we're in great shape because we're in the middle of the footprint. Number two, if it comes down to the healthiest balance sheet, I like our chances, and it's all because of our fan base.
Last thing, in a couple of weeks, Nebraska will be on Peacock. What do you tell people who are, kind of searching after being on FS2 to start the game last week, and what do you tell them about finding the games?
I understand, some of the consternation. The reality is this is where we're going.
Yep.
And it isn't just the University of Nebraska. This is how consumers are moving in terms of how they consume live sporting events, and the cable model as it continues to unwind in a sense. ESPN used to be at 110 million homes. It's now in 50s. So streaming is the future, and slowly the Big Ten is moving. You're going to see a lot of college basketball games in the Big Ten on the streaming network. And quite frankly, Peacock, it's a high quality production. They do a very nice job, and so we'll do our best. You can go on Huskers.com. There's actually some discounts for alumni and others, and we'll try to broadly communicate that and make it as easy as we possibly can.
Trev, it's been a great fall so far with volleyball, soccer, football, so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Trev Alberts, we appreciate him taking the time. We'll take a quick break now. Before we go, though, enjoy the photos from this weekend's game, courtesy of Hurrdat Sports. Welcome back to Big Red Wrap-Up. I'm here now with our sports intern, Hannah. She's got our social media to see what was happening over the weekend. What you got for us?
We got 3 posts here for you. The first one, what are the Huskers studying next week during practice? We got tacky glue in reference to those fumbles we had over the weekend.
Not for the quarterback, though, right? Because he's got to be able to throw the ball and pitch the ball. Everybody else.
Everybody else,
yes. Sure.
And then our next 2 are costume-based. And these 2 dressed up as Michigan with some binoculars in reference to the Michigan NCAA scandal.
Michigan spies.
Yes.
Yes.
And then our last one, we have 2 dressed up as Coach Rule and Coach Williams.
Oh, that is really well done. Even got the cool shoes on that Coach Williams wears as well. That's pretty cool. Hannah, we appreciate it. We'll check in again next week with you.
Yes.
That's awesome. Now it's time to jump into the highlights. Before we welcome in 10-11 sports director Kevin Schutz. It's actually Suits, the J silent, excuse me. Yeah. Check it the way it was. Oh, it was a windy day. You know what? It was a great game for football. A little cool. I wasn't there. So I didn't know how cool it was. It starts off like it does 2 weeks in a row now with not the best start for Nebraska. You have the kickoff. Garrett Snodgrass grabs it, ends up fumbling it. Originally, they give the ball to Nebraska, but then changed their mind, ended up giving it to Purdue because that was the right call.
It was the right call.
Yeah.
And I would think anybody in that, the way that he put his helmet on the ball, I think 99% of the people are fumbling that football.
No doubt, yeah, especially when it's a linebacker. Fumbled snap to start off the game. Nebraska bows up on defense like they've done in sudden change defense so often. Again, now it's 4th down, and this player, it might have been a little grab on the shoulder, but they let him play. Right? No problem with that. That was Hartzog in the coverage there. Here's what we hadn't seen a lot this year. We hadn't seen a lot of pitching the ball. I love seeing the pitch on the option.
Yeah, he can still do it more. I think he needs the slow play of just an option. It just looks a little messy sometimes with him, but if he just needs to, make a decision, right, and go with it.
Harburg takes so many big hits, a bunch of big hits. That was the first one in the game. But then a great throw to Thomas Fidone. I love that little slipping him out of the backfield. He's a big guy. Get him the ball. Nebraska goes up 7-0. The Hudson Card comes back, tries to get a little hot, starting to make some plays. This was a great throw and a great defensive play as well. And then you come to what Nebraska's been doing. They constantly putting pressure. I think eventually they got him shook up a little bit. Don't you think, Sean?
Yeah, he just never was comfortable. He ran well and moved around, but Nebraska limited that big play, and then he tries to make the throw right in the wind. I mean, that was not the time to make that throw.
What does Coach Osborne talk about, right? There's this times of the year where you can't do that. Now in the Big Ten, and Tommy Hill takes advantage of it and picks the ball off. And then I love this, sudden change the other way. First play after the turnover, you got that belly G option pass, and as I mentioned, Jalen Lloyd gets the touchdown there. 10-4 speed, yes. He's a sprinter. Not a big guy, but he can score like that for sure. 73-yard touchdown, which added to most of the yards that Harburg had on the day. I think he was 6 of 11, like 122 yards, and most of it was on that play. Matter of fact, Nebraska didn't throw the ball in pretty much all the fourth quarter, and they only had 1 completion really in the second half when you look at the stats.
It's just 6 completions, right?
Yeah, it's 6 total completions. I believe 5 of them were in the first half, though. And he had 1 in the second half, which is crazy to think about. There's the fumble, but Nebraska's defense again bows up. It's a nice run by Card there. I'm surprised they ran him so much coming off his back injury, but he must be healthy. And then you have this throw right here where he's trying to get away, gets sacked for 11 yards, forces the long field goal. And because of that, you have a bad snap, low kick, and then Jerry Jeudy knocks. You played inside?
Yeah, I was always on the outside. I was always on the outside, more of a contain guy. So I think my junior year, we blocked like four or 5 field goals my junior year. So we were halfway decent. But first touchdown for a field goal block for a touchdown since 2014.
It's incredible. Didn't Potter play inside though? He did.
He did. He was a jumper.
Right?
He was a leaper.
Barry Turner.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Those are some big basketball playing guys. Yeah. Here we go again. I kind of would like him to pitch there as well, but that's fine. He keeps it, gets 8 yards. Good job for Harburg. And then on this play, on the first down, this is when Nebraska really kind of started getting going. You could see it. Tristan Alvano, 55 yards on a very windy, strange day with a great kick.
That's one of the most difficult kicks that's been made in that stadium in a while.
Definitely.
Just when you consider the weather conditions.
Yeah. After a big hit, Harburg runs option. This time doesn't pitch it again, gets hit. You have the fumble. One of the few times after a turnover that Nebraska's defense hasn't completely stopped them. You get the tackle for loss here, but this is just a great play. I mean, what are you going to say about the way they catch the ball when he throws the ball?
Yeah, I mean, he steps in the pocket nice and loses the pressure, and he brought it over the top. I mean, I don't know if Hartzog could have got over there in time, but it was a great throw and catch. Put it right where only his guy could get it.
Makes it 24-6. The 2-point conversion is no good, but look at this throw. And they drop balls all day.
They did.
And they make that catch, which was pretty incredible. 24-6, as we said. Jeff Sims comes in after an exchange of offsides on one side, and anyway, this happens when Jeff Sims comes in.
They should have just punted it. Matt Rule said that after the game.
Yeah.
Like, looking
or
back.
How about not running 4th and 1 from the shotgun?
And then having the play call wrong. I mean, at that point, just call the timeout.
Well, he went the wrong way the play before.
They
had a tackle over situation. He lined up on the wrong side. Got to move on the right side. And it was a hot mess from the get-go.
2-point conversion's good there. It's only a 10-point lead, 24-14. But Nebraska goes to the ground with Emmett Johnson for 4 yards, and then 4 yards again. Emmett Johnson's playing really well right now with an 8-yard run here, and then it breaks wide open on the inside zone.
It does. A fantastic play. Well, I'll break the play down in the huddle. Or you'll see right here, just a perfect
Everybody
crease
did their
here.
job, right?
And you're seeing this young man grow up here. It could be, there's going to be some competition now, that running back spot with him, and it depends if those other guys who got banged up come back.
Yeah, he came into the season probably not expecting to get any play, and now he's the lead running back. Tommy Hill with his second interception on the day. As Sean said, he's putting up some good numbers for the season. You never know what will happen in postseason awards. Let's go to the final stats after the 31-14 victory. And the final stats are in a Boilermaker yellow that I could barely see. God, I used to be young and I could see stuff. Anyway, Nebraska, as you see, very good with the 155 and 122 with the passing yards on just 6 completions. Good job by Nebraska. Again, for the 3rd game in a row, wins, but losing the turnover battle, which they used to never do, which is pretty cool. Let's go to the players of the game now from the win. Not a surprise, Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, Quentin Newsome for the explosive touchdown run off the block kick. And secondly, a man who was all over the field, defensive powerhouse, Isaac Gifford. He had not just 10 tackles on the game, he also had 2 TFLs, and he also had a batted pass as well. So pretty good with that. All right, time to welcome our second guest, Kevin Suits, joining us. Kevin, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. How you been?
Been well. Enjoying this season.
Oh, no doubt about that. It's nice to do highlights for wins, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice for the morale of everybody around the state when the wins happen.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Why do you think, well, first of all, how can a team be last in fumbles and lost fumbles, yet be 5-3 on the season?
They find ways to win, and they don't beat themselves late in games. Because you look at all these games outside of this past week, it's been kind of a flip of a coin late in the game, and Nebraska's found ways to close games. And then when there is one thing that goes against them, they've showed great mental fortitude. They've responded well, and I think that this team just it's starting to show the DNA that Matt Rule wants of, we're just taking it a play at a time.
Yeah.
I know it's cliche, but that's kind of how they're playing, and I kind of groove with it. It's pretty good.
Kevin, you've been around a lot of coaches from your time covering Nebraska. What's different about Matt Rule? Why do you think his style is so successful, the way he communicates, the way he kind of runs the program?
Well, the one thing that I think is different, Sean, and you could probably agree with this, is that nothing is by accident with Matt Rule. It seems like he is so intentional about every single thing. I mean, we're talking with how he communicates within his staff, how he handles the scout teamers, and how he even praises other teams. And one thing that's really fascinating, too, is that he uses the press conferences, I believe, as a way to communicate to his team. He not only says those things behind their closed walls, he also says them publicly. And that's very refreshing, that there are no hidden messages. There's no, I feel like the soap opera that has been Nebraska football over the past 15 years. There is none of that. It's all about, we're going to play ball, we're going to be transparent with everybody, and there are so many examples of the way that Matt Rule is communicating with his team and some of these stories coming to life. James Williams, perfect example. A guy that when he makes a sack late in the game, everybody says, who's number 9?
Right.
But he was pretty honest with James ahead of the game, and he was honest with everybody after the game about his very quick rise, scout team, to on the field in 1 week.
Kevin, I think everyone's been talking about the defense, but I think the evolution of the offense, even with the turnovers, I do believe they're gotten better throughout the game and through 8 games so far this season. But overall, we've seen the true freshman play on the defensive side. We're starting to see a lot more freshman play on the offensive side. Just allude to those guys and the staff getting them ready to play and be able to take what they do in practice to the game on Saturdays.
Absolutely, and I don't think enough credit is going to the offensive line right now and what they went through from 2 weeks ago to last week. You're asking not 1, but 3 guys to move into starting roles, and we didn't see the drop-off from the ground game that maybe some people thought they would have seen. Now you're asking Henry Lutovsky to play a starting role. Ben Scott, thankfully, he was healthy for last week, but we know Teddy Prochazka has tremendous potential. And just across the board, those guys, and then Justin Evans-Jenkins.
Yeah, he played well.
He's a redshirt freshman. I think he's a guy that has a very bright future for Nebraska. So the fact that, there was kind of a line shift up front for Nebraska, yet the offense, I know the passing numbers weren't great, but overall running the football, and that's number one with that offense, did a pretty nice job.
Yeah, they didn't even try to pass the ball really in the fourth quarter because they had the lead and they were playing well on the ground. You'd mentioned something about things that Coach Rule says. I think he speaks things into existence, too. He'll say something, and remember he kept saying over and over, we're not forcing turnovers. Now, all of a sudden, last couple of games, they're forcing turnovers. I think he's really good about doing that.
He's mentioned that in those press conferences too. Like, I'm going to speak this into existence.
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of more of a, his background with, a religious family.
Sure.
His father's a pastor, and sometimes they will say things that they just want to see happen. And again, it's also a way for him to maybe remind his players or anybody else who's following his team that, no, we're emphasizing this at practice, and it's so top of mind for him. And he just has so much confidence to speak publicly that he's going to share those things. And no, we need to improve on special teams. And even this past Monday, he was talking about the defensive numbers. They are what they are. He didn't think the defense played very well.
Right.
I mean, you saw the one highlight that Purdue, the one touchdown for Purdue. That was a tremendous play by the Boilermakers.
Right.
That was the lone touchdown the defense gave up. I thought the defense played great.
Yeah.
And they've been on a heater right now. Yet he has that ability to say, listen,
don't get too complacent here, boys. Let's check yourself a little bit.
First time under 100 yards on passing and rushing in forever, right? Like 2012.
Well, that was Purdue's worst game of the year.
Yeah.
Too. The first time they were
pretty
under,
good offense.
They were under 200. I mean, and let's talk about Tony White, this defense.
Yeah.
Like when the 3-3-5 was coming to Lincoln, what were your first thoughts it was going to be, and how surprised are you how well this has come together?
First thought was, in the 3-3-5, you have to be able to rush the passer. And the past couple of years, the pass rush hasn't been very good.
Right.
And we didn't know about the guys that were going to be coming off the edge because O'Shawn Mathis, he graduated. Garrett Nelson was gone. So you're trying to put in a system with some pieces that you weren't so sure about. And now every week there is somebody on defense that you go, he fits perfectly. Mekhi Bayer early in the season. And then Princewell Umanmielen. Like, he's having a great season. And the play he made in the second half of this game, like, that's a legit advanced play. And he's doing this as a true freshman. So the 3-3-5, my initial thought on that was, do you have the pieces to do it? And we're finding out the answer to that is yes. And also you're finding out that they've got some dudes on the back end that are not afraid to go make plays. I think that's the key, Sean, is that to run that system, you have to have guys who play fearlessly.
Like Isaac Giffords.
Isaac Gifford. And I'm a huge Isaac Gifford fan, a Lincoln Southeast kid, and a tremendous family. And I think he is the perfect fit to play that rover spot in the 3-3-5.
Yeah. What about quarterback? You see Heinrich taking these big hits. He's going to probably have to lead some games. We saw it already. Can they feel comfortable bringing in a quarterback who seems to have no confidence in Jeff Sims? Maybe you go to Chubba?
Matt brings up Chubba quite often.
Yeah, he does.
He looks good right now, I've heard.
Well, that's
running the option. That's what
he's healthy too.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing with Heinrich, he protects the football.
He does.
He protects the football. And for the way that they're playing right now, leaning on the defense, you just have to have a quarterback that will not put the ball on the ground or put it in the air that can maybe get picked.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big part of Heinrich's success this year. So, Michael, to answer your question, Chubba maybe is legitimately in play. Heinrich, I'd be shocked if he makes it through the remainder of the season with
taking those shots.
Upcoming games in November.
Yeah.
The way that he runs so physically, and Purdue's not Michigan's defense, but they popped them a couple of times that were pretty good. And so as the season wears on, what's the durability look like?
Like a concussion's probably something you got to worry about probably more than anything. It's his head.
Yeah, I'd like to see Heinrich almost. He goes to the contact so poorly sometimes. Just not really sure what he
Should he slide? Should he not?
I don't know if to slide because they're going to. You're down right. You start the slide. You can almost dive.
Yeah.
That way, if you do lose the ball, you're in that situation. The ground might cause a fumble. You're not going to lose the ball. But
I never had to in high school.
Right.
Think how big he was in high school.
You run everyone over. You're right. You run everyone over.
Can you imagine tackling this guy at Elkhorn High?
But early in the year, he went into contact so much better. Now just getting a little banged up, things start moving a little quicker. He just looks a little hesitant going not into contact, not as well. So I'd like to see him just get a little lower and maybe diving's okay. It's okay. No one's going to call you soft in this situation. No.
I feel like for Heinrich, though, he has to sell his soul to slide. And I remember, the first start that he made, and he led Nebraska to a win against Northern Illinois. He told me afterwards, he saw Tommy Frazier, and that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
But he even ribbed Tommy because Tommy told him, hey, you might want to think about getting down every now and again. And he clapped back to Tommy Frazier saying, I never saw you do that.
Yeah.
Confidence in Heinrich and, just a great guy. I think everybody has really had a pretty high approval rate of Heinrich Haarberg, a homegrown guy. And, funny thing is, my youngest even had a flag football game a couple weeks ago. And I look over my shoulder. There are two players, all Nebraska get up just watching a fourth grade flag football game.
Wow.
It was Heinrich Haarberg and Jack Wokey. And they're just eating ice cream. Just happened to be in the area, saw the lights on, strolled down there. I mean, that's good stuff.
That's awesome.
Two guys that are just a part of the community, just wanted to watch some football.
I hope Tommy said, yeah, but I had Brooke behind me, so I could do that. The rest of the schedule, 4 games remaining. They're in a perfect spot to get to bowl eligibility. Maybe they could even get to 8-4. Your thoughts?
They could maybe win the West.
There's no doubt.
I mean, they're in a 4-way tie atop the division right now. And if you spend some time looking at the remaining schedules for the other teams, I think Nebraska, they have 2 of the teams they need to knock out of the top spot on the schedule.
Right.
So it's a pretty good spot to be in that you have Wisconsin, you have Iowa, and I think going 2-2, very attainable. 3-1, pretty attainable as well.
Sure.
Especially considering you're going to play Iowa at home. I think that this may all set up for that Black Friday game inside Memorial Stadium to have some pretty high stakes.
That could mean a bowl game in Tampa. I was looking at some of that guaranteed rate ball, whatever it's called in Tampa. They could be there. I know fans would love to go to
New Year's Day.
Old Outback Bowl?
I believe it is the old Outback Bowl. Yeah, it's the New Year's Day in Tampa.
It's cool to talk bowl games because we could talk about Tampa, Phoenix, Vegas, and even Nashville's popping up on the boards. And I know Music City Bowl that's a great bowl.
We had a blast in that.
Yeah.
That was our last trip. My daughter wasn't even born. My youngest wasn't even born.
That's how long it's been,
7-year-old daughter.
Kevin, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, now we have a new game day photo winner this week. Dave sent us the picture of him and his family who flew all the way from Las Vegas to cheer on the Huskers. He says they always make it back for homecoming. That is awesome to come back from homecoming. I saw so many people talking about going down to the game because of homecoming, having their gear on, ready to go. It's pretty cool. Congratulations, Dave. Thanks for sending us this in. Don't miss out on your opportunity to send us your best game day photo for chances to win great prizes like these throughout the season. We wait to see your game best. Make sure you send it no matter where you're watching the game. We want them. And with that, we toss it to the huddle with Jay Moore.
All right, a couple plays for you guys tonight in the huddle. I figured since we haven't blocked a kick for a touchdown since 2014, it'd be a good one to discuss. So, footage is a little grainy, but you're going to see, and I couldn't get the circle small enough. Elijah Judy right here does a great job. They said that the left guard was a little light in his stance. They knew they had opportunity to attack there. You're going to you can't line over at the center, so you get a good rush. Right here's Judy, does a good job of getting into that backfield. The snap was slow and was bobbled. The kick comes out a little low, but again, hands up, gets a block. But the cool thing about being on the field, you hear that sound. And Newsome, you can see right here, turns his head. He can hear that ball being blocked. So he has a good whereabouts to find it, go and catch it. He gets a little convoy into the end zone with his buddy. A little high five. That was the first field goal block since Minnesota in 2014. So great play. Next play, offensive, game-sealing touchdown. A really cool play they run here. Emmett Johnson kind of finding his legs to get going to finish off his drive. Nebraska is just going to completely squeeze this down into the boundary, blocking-wise. And they're going to bring the motion guy tight end over to kick out, wrap around. And we're going to get a great block here. Malachi Coleman does a fantastic job over this, just puts this guy on skates, a fantastic job. So you get the Purdue guy trying to spill the force. He does his job. So he's going to go out here. He puts these two Purdue defenders in a tough spot. They're not quite sure where to fit. 31 is just kind of like, I don't know where to go. It creates this seal here. Emmett does a good job of not being arm tackled there and seals the game for the Big Red when it was a little unsure at that moment.
That was an awesome play, Jay. It really was.
Honestly, dude, if I wasn't married already, I'd marry that line blocking. It was perfect.
That was great.
The seal here, it's outstanding. It's awesome. I really like that. Thanks, Jay. We appreciate it. We have to take one more short break. But first, more photos from the Husker win, courtesy of Hurrdat Sports. Welcome back to Big Red Wrap-Up. It's time to check in on this week's Sideline Survey. Does Nebraska make a bowl game? 65% of the people say yes, 18% are haters, and 17% say I'm scared of answering and jinxing it. I completely understand that. Now we turn to recruiting. Sean Callahan, let's talk about the commit for this week because it's from Frisco, Texas, a great football community. It's where the FCS championship game is played. Tell us about the latest commit.
Yeah, Jackson Lee, a really dynamic edge rush player, 6'2", 6'2.5", about 225. Runs in the 4.5s, 36-inch vertical. He's a 10-1 broad guy.
Oh, wow.
So an explosive athlete in every metric and a perfect fit for probably that jack position as you start to look, or maybe even a linebacker. I mean, I think he's got the versatility to really be a good 3-3-5 guy.
Yeah, let's talk about visitors from this past weekend.
Yeah, this weekend for Nebraska, the Huskers brought in a lot of guys, and here's Doug Utu and S.J. Afalutu from Bishop Gorman High School, two of the top 2025 offensive linemen in the country. Utu there on the left. Probably, I mean, he's a
tackle.
He's a five, and SJ is a guard. But they have an extremely close relationship with Donovan Raiola from the Hawaii days, and so I think that helped Nebraska get these guys here. There were 5 Bishop Gorman players that came to Lincoln, and those two obviously were the 2 highlighted names.
Speaking of 2025, we go to the phone now. Alex Mansky joins us. He's from Algona, Iowa, joining us on the phone. Alex, how are things going?
It's going good. How about you guys?
Good. We appreciate you taking the time. I know you told us before your season ended in the playoffs, but how did you do overall this year?
I thought I did pretty well overall this year. Obviously getting a lot better from the year before and improving on the small things that I needed to work on from the year before. And I thought I saw improvements in everything I did, so it was really cool to see that.
Alex, go back to just kind of how your recruiting picked up. You went to a Nebraska camp in June, and if I'm not mistaken, you pitched almost 100 pitches the day before that camp and still threw lights out for that Nebraska staff. How quickly did things ramp up with Nebraska? And I think you've been to Lincoln probably 5 or 6 times now at least.
Yeah, it was definitely really quick because I kind of went into the camp like not having much communication with anyone from there and like the new staff and everything, but did well at the camp and got the offer, and then just since then it's kind of been like just love it down there, so I just want to get back. I think I've been there 5 times now since camp, so it's been really cool.
Alex, I know you're a pro-style quarterback, but watching you run, look at dual threat to me. How do you consider yourself in terms of being a passer and a runner?
Yeah, I think I'm not like extremely fast, but like if I need to run, if I like the pocket collapses, I need to take off, and if I need to extend the play, I feel like I can do that really well.
You're obviously right there in Iowa with things at Iowa right now with the change at coordinator and some things going on there. How are you going to evaluate the situation there in the in-state, both with Iowa and Iowa State? As obviously I know their players and your recruitment, and what other teams have tried to kind of get into the picture that maybe haven't offered yet?
A few teams that haven't offered yet, but kind of get into the picture, like I'm going to the Michigan-Ohio State game later in November, and then I've been talking with like Tennessee and a couple other schools like that, so it's been pretty interesting.
The thing that jumps out off the page watching you on video is your quick release. Is that something that was just natural for you, hours of working on it? How did you get your quick release?
I used to have a really, really long release. I used to like bring it like really below my hip, but I just like going into my freshman year one summer, I just kind of just did some drills to like work on my quick release, and it still wasn't quick, but I think after a while, just like throwing more and more, I think naturally it's just gotten better. So it's definitely a good thing to have that as one of the pluses. Back in like when I was in middle school and stuff, it was one of my negatives. So it's been really cool to see an improvement.
And then Alex, your teammate Jack Limbaugh, his mom's former Husker volleyball player Amber Holmquist, his dad Jack Limbaugh Sr. played for Nebraska. How much have they talked to you about their time here at Nebraska?
Yeah, they definitely bring it up whenever I'm around them, and like if they hear I'm going like down to a visit, they're always like telling me go Big Red and stuff, and always talking about how they love it down there. So it's definitely cool to have that dynamic.
Alex, last thing, do you know when you're going to make a decision? Do you have a date in your mind?
I don't have a date in my mind, but I think after the season, so the season's over now, I think I'm just gonna after all the visits are done, just take some time to decompress and stuff. And I think once I feel like if it's right, I think I might make my decision sometime after that.
Awesome. Alex, we really appreciate you taking the time.
Yep, I appreciate you guys.
All right, let's talk in-state. Pierce Newberry, who's gotten a couple of, I think he just got out from Minnesota, right? And he already has one from Iowa State.
Yeah, Miller North, just a tackling machine for Fred Petito on that defense with Caden Vermas and Pierce Newberry. Kind of reminds you a little bit of a Sean Fisher, Cole Fisher type, the way they utilize him in that defense. And I remember I brought that comparison up because you're right, that is a good comparison. Like I'm showing my age here because the Fishers had played a number of years there, but very talented player for Petito and just got that Minnesota offer. I know Nebraska, he's been to some games, he went to camp, so on the radar for the Huskers and a number of other regional programs, but 2 Power 5 offers already here for Pierce Newberry, and you see the size, and that's a legit 6'4", 196 measurement from the Husker Online In-State Tour event we did.
Yeah, and when you look at that 3 linebacker set, he could play across the board probably at that size.
Yeah, and I think the question is the speed. I mean, I think the metrics of what they do in the recruiting here, you have to be able to run in this 3-3-5. So, where does he fit in that scheme? No doubt a very talented player, though.
Sean, we appreciate it. Let's take a look around the Big Ten at performances of teams that Nebraska will be playing. Michigan State fell to Minnesota 27-12. Michigan State fought pretty hard in that game, though. Ohio State, like they always do, beat Wisconsin by 14, 24-10. And Maryland, who got off to a quick start, lost to Northwestern 33-27. Let's talk some Michigan State now. They have a lot of injuries. They're on their backup quarterback right now. Obviously, they have an interim coach because what happened there. They even have 2 of their top wide receivers most likely out. They're day-to-day. Their coaches didn't know Harlan Barnett if they're going to play. It's really an interesting matchup going there at 11 o'clock, too. Will it be even a good crowd?
I don't. I foresee that to be similar to the Illinois game on a Friday night. There'll be some fans there, but if Nebraska gets on them early, I would expect that crowd to to shrink a little bit. Yeah. I don't know the weather situation. It's
50s.
Yeah, so it's not going to be too bad.
Yeah.
But it's another fantastic opportunity for Nebraska to find another win, get bowl eligible, continue to get better, build more confidence, and kind of figure out this whole offensive dynamic that they got going on right now through this part of the season.
Some Nebraska connections there at Michigan State.
Yeah, you look at that coaching staff. TJ Hollowell was elevated to the 10th assistant role when Mel Tucker was fired. Ross Ells is the special teams coordinator.
Nice.
Lincoln Northeast native, coached here at Nebraska. Then Ted Gilmore is the receivers coach. So there are 3 of the 10 assistants are former Husker players, are former Husker assistant coaches in both cases with Hollowell. So it's a unique makeup, and then Alante Brown is on that team as well as a receiver. They've got some good coaches. When Mel Tucker went there, he had quite a budget. I mean, he took Scotty Hazelton from Kansas State. He was Chris Kleiman's guy that was with him and took him up there to Michigan State, doubled the salary. So they've got a budget, and they still have some really good coaches on that staff there at Michigan State.
They're really injured in the secondary. They're 11th in scoring defense in the Big Ten, second to last in pass defense, last in per attempt, 7.7 yards are given up a tenth, and they're allowing 62% passing, highest in the Big Ten as well. I know Nebraska hasn't thrown the ball well. I know that. Only completed 6, but this is against a pass defense that's really struggling. You take some shots at least?
Oh, you'll see some shots. I think you got to still establish the run game. You're going to see the option. You're going to see, is it going to be Emmett Johnson or a Fleek situation starting off on Saturday? But I think they want to utilize both. I like the way they utilize Fleeks in the passing game.
Oh, yeah.
Get him on the edge. I love that role for him. Had some nice, utilize him in the screen game very well too. So I think they're definitely established the pass, but they're going to take their shots. We've seen it. I mean, we've seen it since all year, really. They're one. It doesn't matter where the ball is. We saw them take a shot backed up against Illinois, and before Marcus Washington got hurt, he made that great play. And we've seen Coleman and Jalen Lloyd play. So those are all going to be in plays, especially after Nebraska creates a turnover. He's taking a shot.
Yeah.
Like he's shown to do that.
Nate Carter, 4th leading rusher in the Big Ten. He's got 4 touchdowns. And Cal Holiday is one of the best tacklers in all of the Big Ten.
Yeah, they still have some good players. I mean, they lost their quarterback and their top receiver to the transfer portal last spring. So this team lost their head coach and 2 of their best players, but they still have a lot of material. I mean, I think this was a team that a lot of people thought was more like a 6 to 8 win type team. That's fallen off to where they're at right now because of the situation. I mean, they've lost 6 games in a row, And look, we know what it's like here at Nebraska when you fire the head coach in the middle of the season. It's really, really tough to keep a team together. And they're doing the best they can. They've played tough, but they've been so limited with what they've been able to do on offense.
And they've gotten off to good starts. They got off a good start against Rutgers. They had a lead early against Minnesota.
Touchdowns in the first 2 drives.
They can't just, they haven't held it together. They should have won that game at Rutgers, but Rutgers just fought back, and Michigan State turned the ball over way too many times.
Brad mentioned, Sean, something I would love to see. You think we see Ethan Nation back there at punt return?
You know, has he played in one game or no?
Yes, he did come in and play in one game. I know he was a couple weeks ago. He was out there at corner.
I think the thing with Ethan Nation, they'll probably want to keep him at 4.
Sure.
So there's a lot of moving parts there. The nice thing, if you make a bowl game, and I love this rule, if you've already played in 4 games and the bowl game's your 5th, that doesn't matter. You can still play. So any one of these guys that hit the 4-game mark, they can play them in a bowl game, which is a great rule they put in to kind of counter against players that were opting out of playing in bowl games to go to the NFL or other reasons.
John wants to know from Facebook, Sean, who's next among the offensive linemen? Now that you have 3 backups in there, who's next?
Well, now that we're at game 9, it might be Sam Sledge. I think Tyler Knack and Joey Mancini were the 2 guys that were kind of coming in first. But now that Gunnar Gatula and Sam Sledge, those 2 guys, are eligible to play the next 4 games in a row, I wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Sam Sledge gets on the field in this game here at Michigan State. He's traveled all year as a true freshman.
I apologize for this, but Mark in Grand Island, why was Cinderella so bad at football? Because her coach was a pumpkin. Get it? Okay, Tom from Omaha. Re-examining the running back room, what's left now, and what does it look like for next year with the main recruit flipping?
Well, yeah, Kewan Lacey decommitted from Nebraska, and he's reopened things. I know they have a running back on the radar that will probably come in for an official visit, whether it's Maryland or Iowa. So they've got something in play. It's not public yet who that is. I don't know who it is. I know there's something in play, but they've got to get a running back for sure. The good news is you do get some of these injured guys back next year. Emmett Johnson's developed more, so you'll have depth returning. But man, Kewan Lacey was going to probably help them next year.
Yeah, he's a good-looking player. I know you play on the defensive side, but do you think that Nebraska needs to have a full-time quarterbacks coach? Just to teach him how to do a quarterback sneak alone.
Well, Satterfield's the quarterback coach, obviously OC, but not necessarily. I mean, I look at it, gosh, back in the heydays, I mean, T.O. was the OC, but you had Turner Gill as a QB coach. And I think that, Turner's role evolved as years went on. I don't think it's a huge, I just think we're dealing with a QB this is his first year playing. Injuries galore.
Yep.
And he's learning. They're learning. I mean, I guarantee you, Satterfield didn't come in here thinking they're going to run belly G option plays.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, they're learning as much as
Rod Brown's drawing plays.
Right. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these.
Coach Osborne.
So I think they're learning just as much, and it'll get better. It's going to get better. It's first year for guys.
Real quick, Sean, we mentioned this earlier, but do you think the Polar Bear could be all Big Ten?
I think he's knocking on the door. I mean, it's a position where you don't put up a lot of stats, but he's put up stats. I mean, that 2.5 sack game has put his name up there. Again, though, maybe not first team, but I think second, third team, they've got a couple guys already. And if they get to like 8-4, 9-3, those are the teams that generally have guys that get up there. But there are so many good players in this league. To make a first team All Big Ten, it's extremely difficult.
Sean calling for the Nebraska to win out. Your burning question.
My burning question this week, can Nebraska withstand that opening charge from Michigan State? It'll be emotional for these players. It's their senior day. They're going to come out with some haymakers. You got to survive that opening charge.
I'm sticking with the turnover theme until I get this thing right.
Yeah, you go.
Because I said, take care of the football. They still haven't done that. Can we finish on the positive side of the turnover margin in this game?
Can Nebraska do something that Michigan State is horrible at, and that is, can they pass? Because the pass defense for Michigan State is one of the worst in the Big Ten. Can Nebraska get the ball over the top and get some completions? Don't forget to head to our website or Facebook page and click on the prediction. Jay, Sean, and I will tell you exactly what to expect on Saturday when Nebraska is in East Lansing to take on the Michigan State Spartans. Kickoff for that game is 11 a.m. Central on FS1. Also on Saturday, be sure to watch the 2023 NCAA Volleyball Championships all-day coverage. These games start at 9 a.m. Central, and the only place you can find it is right here on Nebraska Public Media. Then we're back here Tuesday night to recap the game against Michigan State with our special guest and former Nebraska assistant coach and now radio personality, Bill Bush. We appreciate him for taking the time to come on. Our thanks to Trev Alberts and Kevin Suits. For Jay Moore and Sean Callahan, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week right here on Big Red Wrap Up.